Good afternoon. I am Satish Gupta, Assistant Professor, IIMT College of Law. Today, I am here to discuss about the prominent work of Emile Durkheim. In the earlier slide, I discussed about the two major work of Emile Durkheim, in which the first one is the Division of Labor in Society in 1893 and the Society in 1893-97. In this slide, I will discuss about the remain work of Emile Durkheim, in which the first one is the rules of sociological method, 1895, and the second work is the elementary forms of religious life, 1912. If you see about the work of Emile Durkheim's The Rules of Sociological Method, in this book, he defined about the social fact, what is the social fact and what is the function of social fact in society, and how the work of social fact work in the society. So he describes that in this book that discusses in detail his methodology or logic of research, clearly laying down guidelines that should be followed by a researcher doing sociological research. So he defined that how the sociological research would be conduct and how the very researcher should be follow the various guidelines for the sociological research. Further, the kind regarded sociology as the study of social fact means social fact for him have very distinctive characteristics. According to Durkheim, society is the reality sui generis. It is an independent entity. Only social facts are real. So, in that sense, Durkheim talk about that the society is a sui generis, meant that created automatically created, and Durkheim talk about that the society is over the individual. Social facts are objective and are capable of being perceived from the outside. So he defined that the social facts are from the outside, not from the internal inside. So here we can see that the Durkheim distinguishes sociology from the social science, philosophy, psychology, and economics. Durkheim has discussed the social fact in triple order. The first one is legal principles, second social statistics, and third one religious codes. The legal principle are studied in his book, The Division of Labor in Society in 1893. In the last slide, I discussed about that the Division of Labor in Society, in which I discussed about the legal principle. The can talk about the legal principle means that the mechanical solidarity and organic solidarity. Talk about the mechanical solidarity and organic solidarity, in which he talk about that the repressive law and restitutive law. And the second work, we can see that the social statistics are studied in his studies society, which was in 1897. In this work, Durkheim discussed in detail about the rates of suicide and how he used the various statistical model method for comparative method for discussing about the suicide, the in which the suicide rate is higher or lower. So all those study are through the under pass through the statistical method. The religious codes are studied in Durkheim's book, Elementary Forms of Religious Life. In this book, he used the various religious codes for his study. The major level of social reality in Durkheim's work can be depicted as he defined social fact into two types. The first one is material social fact, and second is the non-material social fact. In the material social fact, society, structure component of society, example church and state, and third one is some morphological component of society, in which population distribution, channels of communication, housing arrangement, etc. So here, the time talk about that how the work material social fact work for the society and how the society as various structure are working for as a functional society, in which he talk about as like a church and state, the work of the function of the church and the function of the state for the our society and the component of the society are very crucial component of the society. And apart from this, he talk about the morphological component of society, like as population distribution, channels of communication, housing arrangement, etc., are the morphological component that create or that continuity integration between peoples. Non-material social fact in which he talk about the morality, collective consciousness, collective representation, and social currents. If you see the Durkheim methodology for the in the book of rules of social method, so he defined that the four important methodology in which the first one is rules for the observation of social fact. So in that section, he described that the various rules for the observation, how we can observe the social fact, and in the second section, rules of for distinguish normal from pathological. In this section, he distinguishes between normal and pathological social fact. In the third one, rules relating to the classification of social fact, how we classify the social fact, social types, etc. And the last one is rules for explanation of social fact. So he described the various rules for explanation of social facts. If you see the first one is the rules for the observation of social fact. So from the Durkheimian definition of social fact, here we can see that the ways of thinking, acting, thinking, and feeling that are external to the individual and are endowed with a coercive power by virtue of which they exercise control over him. He defines sociology as the study of social fact, things which are external to and coercive of individual. So here we can see that the time defined that the what is the social fact and how the social fact works. So in that sense, he clearly defined that social facts are external, coercive of the individual. That means that any social fact like a society or any things are who this that constraint or coercive to the individuals and that are not there in their internalized that is the external force. If any individuals do or conduct any work, any crime, any things, that means that is the society are society, that society are more liable for the conduct of any activity because society pressure that the individual for the any act. Social fact should always be treated as if they are things. The voluntary nature of social facts should never be assumed beforehand. He compares society to an organism with different parts that function to ensure the smooth and orderly operation and evolution of society. Further, here we can see that he adopted an evidence-free approach in that he considered society to have developed from a traditional to a modern society through the development and expansion of the division of labor. Some sociologists considered him to be a structural functionalist based on the fact that he regarded society as composed of structure that function together. So Durkheim to be seen as he was as a functional perspective. He has art theory based upon the functionalist perspective because every structure, every component of the structure of the society function together. If we see the second methodology that the rules for distinguish normal from pathological. So he developed the criteria for distinguishing equal to level of generality, but this generality depend upon the type of organism or society. So he basically focus upon the what the type of the society or what the type of the organism that depend upon the generality of anything. What is the normal for molecules cannot be normal for vertebrates. Means he defined that if anything normal for one society, that cannot be normal for to the another society. So further, he talked about that the normal for one society cannot be normal for another. As I talked about that, lastly he talked about that the is crime normal. So Durkheim answered that the crime is normal social fact because there exists no society which crime is absent. Means that is there is no any society in which there we can't see the crime because crime is exist in every society. If we see the third methodology, rules relating to the classification of social fact, in this Durkheim called social morphology, that part of sociology concerned with the continuation and classification of social types. Classification is based on the principle that society differ in degree of complexity. So further, he talked about the construction of the types and species. So in human society, the herd is the most simple type of society. So it should begin with the herd. The fourth methodology talk about the rules for explanation of social fact. So here he discussed about the various rules and regulation for the explanation of social fact, in which type of explanation, casual and functional. In the casual explanation, an event is explained in terms of certain cause. So he discussed about that any casual explanation or any explanation, there is a certain cause, like as example, there is no smoke without fire. So fire is the cause of smoke. That's same as the functional explanation. In the functional explanation is equal to holistic explanation. For example, what contribution does the family make to society? So here we analyze the function for the of the part in terms of its contribution to the systematic whole. So here, that was the first book of Emile Durkheim, the Tool for Social Method. In the next work, the ability forms of religious life in 1912. So here we can see that the Emile Durkheim study in the Australian Totemism, Australian tribe of Arunta tribe. So he conducted a study in the Arunta tribe and found that the what is the elementary forms of religious life, and he wrote the book as the same the elementary forms of religious life in 1912. He discusses through the religion and social solidarity in this book. So he discusses that the what is the religion and how the religion emerge in our society. So for the various region, he is conducted his study in the Australian in the Arunta tribes. So here we can see that the Durkheim sociology of religion is found in his book, The Elementary Forms of Religious Life in 1912. Apart from that, there are numerous other works in which Durkheim discuss about the religion, in which we can see that like such as some of the essay, interviews, book reviews, etc., in which Durkheim set for his view on religion. So apart from this, these all things when Durkheim talk about or use the word of the religion and describe some part of the religion, but through the book of the Elementary Forms of Religious Life, he discusses more and extensive parameters for the emergence of religion and elementary forms of religion. What are the elementary forms? What was the elementary forms of the religion? That all such things. So here we can see that the clear definition of the religion. Religion is a unified system of beliefs and practices related to sacred things. That is to say, things setting set apart and forbidden beliefs and practices which unite into one single moral community called a church, all those who adhere to them. So here we can see that the function of religion is a social integration. So the kind more focus upon the what is the function of the religion and how the function of the religion work for our society and what are the benefit of the religion, all such things. So the kind will describe that the religion is the function of he basically defined that the function of religion is social integration, how the function creates social integration and how the religion create among social integration among peoples. Durkheim defined how religious phenomena emerge, in which Durkheim distinguishes between sacred and profane. So sacred means the transcendental, yeah, or extraordinary, that thing that was that things which are extraordinary, or the things that which are not used as our daily use or our parameter. That is the sacred things, and which we keep apart from our day-to-day activities, our daily activities, or other things. This power is attributed to the object. And for profane, he defined that the profane is the ordinary things that is not that is separate from the sacred. ऐसा अगर हम जैसे मान के चलते हैं कि जैसे सेक्रेड वो चीजें होती है जिसे हम क्या करते हैं कि अपने दैनिक उपयोग में वस्तुओं से अलग करके रखते हैं। जैसे हमारे पूजा पाठ की चीजें जो भी कुछ होती है वो हमें इन्होंने सेक्रेट के रूप में मान्यता दी, कि जिसे हम क्या करते हैं कि उसे टच करने या उसे छूने से पहले हम एक परहेज रखते हैं। उसी तरह उन्होंने प्रोफेन वर्ड जो दिया था, प्रोफेन वर्ड के द्वारा इनका कहना था कि वो सारी चीजें ऑर्डिनरी हैं, प्रोफेन हैं, कि जो हमारी सेक्रेट से अलग है। So, in that sense, sacred and profane, he basically categorized our daily lives into the two categories. In that, with the sacred and profane, which things that we can't touch without purity or without anything, that is the sacred. And the things which are normal and ordinary things are which are raised with the categorized in the profane. If we talk about the features of religion, Durkheim talk about the feature of religion that the first one is the distinguish between sacred and profane, and second thing is faith on beliefs, and the third one is the organized character, the church. So the three features we talk about that the means when we distinguish between the sacred and profane, as I talk about the sacred things that which we keep separate from our ordinary things, and the things which are the profane are that we kept about the things from the our ordinary sacred things. Faith or beliefs. He talk about faith or beliefs that that creates a sympathy of religion in our mind. That when we believe or faith on anything or any charisma, that then our belief system or our religious perspective are more emphasis upon these things. And the third one is the organized character and church. So finally, he talked about the what is the organized character and what is the church and what is the function of the church. All these feature of the religion. For him, his study, he was put the Australian totemism and in the Australian Arunta tribes, he conducted his study in the Arunta tribes. So he talked about the who are the Australian totemism and what is the Australian totemism. So he defined that the Australian totemism is the most primitive religion exemplified by the Arunta religion. And what is the meaning of totem? Totem means the term totem used by Ojibwe tribe to designate the things whose name the clan bears. So we can see the features of the totem that what is the features of the totem? That is the animate or animate sources, not individual but species or variety. The third one is the ancestor or group of ancestors, and fourth one is the totem unites individuals through a bond of kinship. And the fifth one is the different system for inheriting totemic names, maternal, paternal, and mathematical ancestor. And sixth one is apart from clan, factory also have totems. 713 is the subdivisions with factories based on matrimony. And the last one is the dietic restriction, no killing or eating totem is used as the emblem of the group. So on the right corner, we can see that the picture of totem pole of that this type of look like as a totem. That totem means that is the any sacred things or any things, but not the individual, which can we keep separate from our things and through which we daily use for our as a religious symbols. So here we can see that the why Durkheim studied Australian totemism. So Durkheim found that in the Australian totemism that the perfect homogeneity in Australian society and wished to study the most simple and primitive society. So that is the best reason for the study of Australian totemism. So in that sense, Durkheim talk about that there are more homogeneity in Australian society, and the second one is the Australian totemism or enterprise is the most simple and primitive society in our society. If you see the method of study that he conducted no any field work for his study, and he studied the of the account of travelers such as Matthew, Palmer, Ruth, Spencer, Galen, etc. Further, here we can see that the totemism as a religion. How can we treat it as a totemism as a religion? For Durkheim, the totem has a religious character because each part of the liturgy. So, totemic object as churinga are sacred objects. They are kept in a special place called Intulanga. Intulanga, what is the Intulanga? Intulanga is a place of peace. Relationship between totemic object and human being are at the same level and are equal in value. Totemic bond which unite clan members are like those of a family. Totemic religion is formed by the union of many cults having its own cosmology and ritual. So, what is the Intulanga? Intulanga is a place of peace where the special place, where it's called the special place where the totemic object can be placed. If we talk about the positive cult of totem, that the sacrificial, imitative, representative, and peculiar. So, if you talk about the negative cult, that is the asceticism. So, this is the cult for the totemism. So here we can see that the Chaim felt it important to study religion within such a primitive setting for several reasons. So here we can see that the why the Durkheim study in the Australian Aranda tribe, or what are the primitive setting for the several reasons. So we can see that to the first point that it is much easier to gain insight into the essential nature of religion in a primitive setting than in a more modern society. Religious form in primitive society could be so in all their nudity. So here the time talk about that in the modern society there are a more diverse perspective of the religion. But if we study from the primitive society, so we can gain a essential nature of the in religion. And the second topic talk about the ideological system of primitive religious religions is less well developed than those of modern religions. And the third one is the religion is in modern society take diverse form. In the primitive society, there is an intellectual and moral conformity. So the second one is the third one is the talk about that what is the ideological system, and there are less well developed than those of modern religion, because in the modern religion there are differentiated various cults and the other things. The fourth point, he studied it in the order to lead to an understanding of the religious nature of man, that it is say to show us an essential and permanent aspect of humanity. That is the four things that the time should talk about there, what why they study in the Australian tribe, and what are the basic necessary, or what are the basic agenda for the study in the primitive society of the religion. If we further, the time discuss three conditions that were needed for the development of any religion. So here we can see there must be the development of a set of religious beliefs. Second was the set of religious rites is necessary, and the third one is the religious required church. So all these things discusses the time for the how the development of any religious, or what are the need for the development of any religious things. So he defined that for the development of any set of religious belief, so people have a individual have must have a religious belief for anything, and a set of religious rights is necessary, because beyond the absence of religious rights, people can't nothing do for their religions. And the third one, we can talk about the religion requires a church. So any religious require a church for to save their life. So in that all the things that the kind detail in discuss about the what is the entry into forms of religious life. That are the two references which I used in my research in my PPT. That the first one is the sociological theory by George Ritzer, and the second was this one is the structure of sociological theory by J.S. Turner. Okay, thank you.